A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new race in the LRR Racing League GT3. Today we're at Zandvoort. My name is J.Hub. Next to me I've got Sean Templar from Game Rivals. Hi Sean, good evening.
Hey J.Hub,
How are we doing today?
we are doing fine. I think we're racing in our own home country.
Yeah, we are in Zandvoort. Or Zandvoort. I don't know, how do we pronounce it today?
I think the English pronunciation is Zandvoort, as we always hear, but the way we say it is Zandvoort.
Zandvoort, yeah, exactly. So we're near the beach and it's dry. It's still we have to say the old track layout that we're using, of course, in this game. So Zandvoort circuit has been changed a little since last year, of course, because the annunciation came out that Formula One should be driving here this year. Unfortunately, due to coronavirus and everything going on in the world, they postponed this race till 2021. So the track was already modified and upgraded, but unfortunately in this game it's still the 2019 version that we're driving at. Nonetheless, not less interesting to drive on, as it is a very interesting circuit to drive on and to try to overtake, as we have a lot of tight corners, Sean.
We do. I think the drivers also put in some. The lap times itself is also pretty short, so it's not like it's a super long lap. It's around 1 minute 30, 1 minute 40, something like that on average what they drive. So it'll be a fast race. Hopefully, a lot of overtaking opportunities. Maybe that the field will be a bit closer together compared to other races.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just talking about Zandvoort and being next to the sea, let's have a look where we're at in Europe, Sean, for the people who don't know where Zandvoort is located.
It's in a tiny little country called the Netherlands.
Called the Netherlands. Well, here on the show we go. We got a map of Europe. We are in the Netherlands, as Sean told you guys. But where in the Netherlands actually we are is on the west side of Amsterdam. It's
West Side.
West side. It's yeah, it's actually directly to the west of Amsterdam, and it's not that far. I think it's like roughly 25 kilometers, something like that, from Amsterdam.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's being connected with a direct train line to Zandvoort that's ending up at the beach and next to the circuit actually. So infrastructure is already there. So Formula One would be very easily accessible from Amsterdam, of course. Looking at the circuit itself here, as you can see, it's directly pulled to the beach, into the dunes, built into the dunes, and it's actually quite an old circuit. Sean, I thought that you had some figures about Zandvoort.
I do. So the track was originally built in 1948 in August, and the distance of the track is, or the circuit is 5.8 kilometers, and in miles that would be 2.6 miles. So it's a pretty, how do you say that?
Yeah, short circuit.
Short circuit, yeah.
I've got a track layout, Sean, in front of us. Could you take us through to the corners that we have here in Zandvoort circuit?
This time I can, unlike Paul Ricard. So
I would be really terrified if you couldn't.
So we start out and we head in on a long straight into the first corner, which is the Tarzan bocht, and then a bit straight on to Gerlach bocht into turn 2. Then we go all the way to turn 3. Turn 4 is Jugenholz bocht onto Hunsenrugbocht. Wow, it's a bit difficult. I didn't expect it that way. The Rob Slotenmaker onto Schijfvlak. From there we go to Marlboro Bocht. It's funny, by the way, it's Marlboro Bocht, and then we get Renault Bocht corner, and then Vodafone Bocht or turn or corner.
Sounds
and then
like quite a little commercial there.
a lot of sponsorship going on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then we go into the Audi S turn, I think. On there to turn 14, Kumho Bocht. and then turn 15, Arie Luijendijk bocht onto straight finish again.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we got a couple of different names in front of us, so probably that's the new names, I think, because the Marlboro bocht you called out there earlier is called at my screen the Masters bocht, so probably there's a little difference, or maybe it's an old or a new name, I don't know. Something
and maybe
like that.
because I know in Formula One, tobacco companies are no longer sponsoring. I think they either stopped or banned doing that.
Yeah, I guess
a long time ago. So maybe it's still from that era.
Yeah, exactly. So we're finishing up free practice. Top three, we have Jordi Sanders with a 1:35.9, Chris Downing followed by 5 tenths, and Kes Dabrowskis with 7 tenths. So quite quick times today. Sean, what were the qualifying times for the top three last year?
So last year, we had Jordi Sanders is on pole position. He drove 135, and then Mitch Welker, who is not participating this year, drove a 135.2. Tommy Schets drove a 135.5. Chris Downing drove a 135.58, so it's pretty close there.
Yeah.
And Choteri drove a 136.1. For this year, the drivers have 20 minutes of qualifying. The race itself is 45 minutes. That's 15 minutes more than last year. That was 30. And the drivers drove 19 laps last year.
Yeah, so we'll see quite an increase on laps, of course, due to the 15 minutes extra that we have. We're officially into qualifying at the moment, so everybody's, as you can see, driving out for their out lap. We'll follow a couple of those guys. So I think Chris Downing, is also on track already. Let's
take a nice call out to Martijn Breuker. His livery has been changed to something orange because he's of course a Dutchie and he's driving in the Netherlands.
Let's see if we can find him. He's still in pit. Yeah, no driving out. So yeah, he's changed his. I don't know if it was gray or something in the past on his livery, and now it's full orange. So
yeah, it was black something.
Yeah, I've been reading on Discord that he was being inspired by Delgado. So as he's always, of course, driving in that orange car of his. I have a mistake for him.
I see that Martijn Breuker has said something in the live chat. I don't know what this word means. It is sujuk or something. I have no idea what that means, and I don't know who it's addressed to. So
I would say keep your eyes on the road, Martijn.
I'll have to look that one up. I don't know what it means, but
can you say it one more time? How is it called?
I think, let me just read it out like he's written it. He's a sujuk or something like that. There's like a lot of U's in it, so
let's ask him afterwards what it means, probably.
Maybe in the post-race.
Yeah, exactly. It probably has a meaning for him. Right, following Chris Downing in the last corner is entering start-finish for his first time lap here. Let's see what he can do. I see he was one of the contenders, of course, last race and last year as well. So this is the first right-hander, quite close right-hander, into a quick left-hander, back to third gear for this right-hander, into a really close left-hander again, back to second gear here. Accelerating out of this corner on a very long straight, which could be a full gas, full throttle if you keep the correct lines here. Let's see if the time Chris is putting down on timetable on the standings is one to focus on for the rest of the guys.
I'm curious to see if Jordi Sanders, because that's what he said in the last race, that he just pops in sometimes and then I asked him, like, how do you manage to get P1 in most of the qualifying, since you're either missing out on free practice or you just pop in and then you suddenly just drop in the best time. Yeah. I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to pull that off today again.
Yeah, he was quite in a few laps on practice and free practice, so he was quickest, of course, but he had some practice going on there.
Yeah, he also said that he does it on his own. He has like his own game he jumps
yeah,
in,
exactly.
private server.
Yeah.
So he tries to put in as much time there as possible. It's actually a pretty good idea to do.
Yeah, so we got Chris Downing 136.5 at the moment. Joris Sanders already increasing there, 136.1. Jeroen Wedderman 1.4 seconds slower. Chad Harry 1.6 slower. Let's see, Enzo Benvenuti is as well one of the contenders from last race. Let's see what he can do on his lap. He's just entering this last corner combination and he's spinning out, so this is a lap he will forget rather quickly, I would say. Martijn Breuker just put in the first lap, 1 second behind, so spot 6. Then Broskis is increased to spot 5. James Ansby position 4 here with a 6/10 of a margin behind Madsen. Madsen again there in the top 5 already, Sean.
Yeah, that's
Madsen. Yeah.
yeah.
It's one name that we see quite a lot up there last couple of races.
Yeah, there's like a race over race improvement, so it's really nice to see. He's kind of like sneaking out of that midfield and heading into that best of the rest.
Okay, Tommy Schetz just coming in with 6/10 behind Jordi Sanders, so 136.7 he's driving at the moment. Quite interesting liveries he has there. A Red Bull looks like with Alpha Tauri.
Who? Because
Tommy Schetz here in his Honda.
oh yeah, well it is an Alpha Tauri because
Yeah,
I see
it's
the sides. That's a really nice livery.
Yeah, it's even sponsored by Alpha Tauri, it looks like.
Yeah, it's called. I see Scuderia Alpha Tauri under his name. That's
I didn't see that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's new because he always used to drive the blue greenish livery
Yeah,
before.
exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
So following along here with Ilko Hogeveen is he's increasing on his previous lap time. So he's 2.8 behind his the time from Jordi Sanders. Entering start finish, he's 6/10 up at the moment. Let's see what he can do.
Where's
He's
your
entering up to spot 19. Marcel Stadmeyer, one of the new drivers, of course, into top 3 with a less than 2/10 behind Jordi Sanders. So quite a good lap from him there. Benvenuti also increasing rapidly, so this previous lap is already forgotten and he's entering the top 10 with 8/10 almost behind Jordi Sanders. So Rage as well, just in the first combination of corners, increasing 3/10 at the moment. Let's see who we see. Martijn Breuker also 3/10 up at the moment to his previous lap. Tommy Schetz also increasing. Let's stay with Martijn Breuker, he's increasing even more, 4/10 up at the moment. Let's see if he can make that top 5 happen today.
That would be really nice. As I mentioned, he's like Nico Hulkenberg, and people that watch Formula One know that Nico Hulkenberg is a great driver. He just never got a podium. For me, Martijn Breuker is like a Nico Hulkenberg, man. He's such a good driver. He deserves a podium, and I truly hope he gets one this season.
Well, couldn't be better than here at Zandvoort, I would say.
Yeah.
With his orange livery, of course. So 5/10 up at the moment to his previous time, so that will almost, if he can keep up with it, put him next to Jordi Sanders.
That'd be something.
Yeah, slowing down a little, 4/10 at the moment. So he would be spot 3 or 4. Entering last corner, he's 4/10 up still, and he is climbing up to spot number 2. Nicely done.
Wow, nice.
Nice done. Yeah, we got still 12 minutes to go, Sean, so wouldn't say too much at the moment.
But I think this is his best qualifying result so far.
Yeah, if he could, if it stays like this, definitely.
Yeah, because I think previously he did a P3.
Yeah, so here Martin Baldinger 4/10 up as well, so he will be P1. Yeah, 136.1. So Martijn Breuker and Jordi Sanders back to 2 and 3.
Wow.
And track just went optimum, so we'll see probably some few quick lap times coming in. Chris Downing as well increasing at the moment, 2/10. So that will put him in P1 if he can keep up with it with this lap time. So last combination of corners now. Still 2/10 up. Let's see what he can do, if it will be a P1. Yep, it is 1:35.9 we're entering. So we're roughly at the same pace now as the quickest time in free practice. Of course, the track was not optimum at that time, so we'll probably see some increase in lap times there. Ace van der Velde also increasing 3/10.
Mark de Jong in the chat says, "Come on, Van der Velde."
Let's do it. 2/10 up. Still a couple of corners to go there. 3/10, decreasing a little, 2/10 at the moment. Jamie L is also increasing 3/10. Spot 12 for him at the moment. So, oh, that was a big spin out there. He's lost all the time he gained. Let's switch over to Jamie Ellis, who is still up 2/10. So just a little too quick on the throttle on that exit of that corner. And Jamie Ellis is moving up one spot to P11. Christopher Rylands, 3/10 up at the moment. He's in P18. Little spin there on the exit of that corner. 3/10 up still. RG Chatari as well, 3/10. And he's moving up to P16. Daniel Robertson here and P24, position 24. It's 6/10 up, 7/10 up at the moment. Let's see what he can do in this lap time. So Jordi Sander still P3, Martijn Breuker P4. And we got Chris Downing still first, Martin Baldinger just increased to P2. So 5/10 up for Daniel Robertson at the moment. Accelerating out of this corner, and there will be a fast right-hander coming up for his last corner combination here. So 1 second up at the moment, increasing rapidly. Let's see what he will do. He will be behind 1.2, so roughly pace 16. It's 15 for Daniel Robertson here. So Kirsten Broskis also on a quick lap, 3/10 up in his Merc. So that will be, if he can keep up with this time, he will be a P1 at the moment. Still a long way to go though. Looks like he lost a couple here. Yeah, he did. Only 2/10 up instead of the 4 that he had. Yeah, and he lost it here unfortunately, so still same pace. Jordi Sanders increasing. Let's see what he can do. 4/10 up at the moment. P1 will this be? Yes, 1:35.7.
Nice.
That's the new benchmark at the moment. So Chris Downing 2/10 below is increasing, just starting his flying lap.
Is that a yellow or a gold livery he has on his car?
The Chris Downing, you mean?
No, Jordi Sanders.
Ah, Jordi Sanders. It's yellow.
It looks a bit goldish because of the reflection of the car.
Yeah. I don't know.
Never picked him the gold type.
Exactly. Then Roberts increasing, the rest is not increasing at the moment. Peter Das is all 4/10 up at the moment. There's a couple of corners. Little wide there, losing some valuable time.
Jay Mendez says, Van der Velde fan club in chat.
Oh, you're present again?
It's nice to see that the drivers are bringing like an entourage to the game.
Peter Das up to P15 with 4/10 increase on his lap time. The rest all on their out laps looks like. Emil Madsen just starting his flying lap, corner number 4 if I'm not mistaken here in his Lexus. 2/10 up at the moment. And he just lost it, so he's on the same pace as his quickest lap. Interesting to see, 1:35.7. What was the quickest time last year, Sean, on the, if you could repeat that one.
And the quali,
yeah.
Let me just quickly grab it. Let's see. Last year, the drivers, it was Sanders on pole position, and he drove just waiting for my my document to load. So he drove a 135, followed by Welker in a 135.2. And then in the race, Saunders drove the fastest lap for him was a 135.2. So they
So
were a little bit slower in the race than in quali.
yeah, but also a little bit slower this year than quali last year, as he was a 135.0 then.
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect them to drive faster now because there's not a lot of fuel in the car and the track is optimum.
Yeah, interesting to see what his strategy will be for this quali, as it is 20 minutes, of course, if he's
Yeah.
doing a 2 or 3 stint quali. And maybe it was the last minute Saunders who popped in today.
Well, I think that's the best version of Saunders we've gotten so far because every time he pops in just randomly, he just puts in the last of the best result.
Yeah, so maybe that's the mistake he made today then, that he
That he
tried
actually
to train.
practiced.
Yeah, exactly. Let's ask him
That'd be
afterwards.
something if that
Yeah.
cost him the race.
James Ansby, 6 tenths up at the moment. He's in P10 with 8 tenths up compared to your Saunders' quickest time. So let's see what he can do here. So last couple of corners, 7 tenths up. He will increase. So P2, 8 tenths up. Ooh, this will be interesting. Good exit there. And he's P2. Yeah. Oh, do you see that margin, Sean?
Oh.
Jordi Saunders, James Ansby.
Oh wow.
I
That
would
gap
say.
is really, really tight.
Yep. Chris Downing also very competitive there in the top 3. And Tommy Schets is increasing a little there. Chris Downing is increasing. 2 tenths up. Jordi Saunders, ooh, 5 tenths up at the moment already.
I think Saunders will, at this rate, Saunders will grab the championship this year. But to be honest, if James Ensby participates next year, I think he will be a serious challenger for that championship winning.
I think so too. Jordi Saunders increasing rapidly here with 6 tenths, so 35.1. Yep, here we go.
Yeah.
James Ensby now is being put back with 6 tenths. That's quite a lot in one lap. Chris Downing's trying to do something about that time, only 1 tenth up.
You'd almost say that Saunders is holding back until he gets pushed off of P1, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, I need to focus again and grab that pole position."
He's roughly on the same pace as last year's qualifier, so interesting to see, of course, what the rest of the guys can do. Chris Downing not increasing enough on his lap time, unfortunately. Still on the same pace, even losing at the moment. Gas also 2 tenths up, but not enough to make it top 5.
I would have expected Enzo Benvenuti to be higher up as well, because he's always driven pretty well in the last 2 races.
Yeah, exactly. And he is P9 at the moment, but cannot make a difference so far.
Maybe in the race.
We have Ilko Hogeveen, P24, increasing the most, 5 tenths. Let's see what Dombrovskis is doing. Same pace. Probably not increasing. No, unfortunately not. Ah, he does. Just a little bit, but just enough to put Martijn Breuk here in P7. So he probably will have another stint. And Hogeveen is moving up to P21 with his increase of 6 or 7 tenths it was. Let's see, the rest is on their out lap at the moment. Pelicano just starting his quick lap, his flying lap. He's in P12 at the moment with his red and black Ferrari. 1 tenths up at the moment. Just increasing a little bit on his lap time. And he's P11, just before Delgado. Jamie Ellis, P13. Let's see what's going on. Kasparovskis is increasing, P6.
How many drivers do we have today?
We have at the moment 25 drivers on track.
25.
Or on track, online in the server. Not on track, of course. So that's a little more than last year. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 21 that we had last year.
Yeah, it's nice to see that the player count is steadily increasing per race.
Yeah, and every race, of course, it's 25 or more, so that's also really nice to see.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a big spin there.
Did I see that you're also doing that? There's also a Porsche Cup for Last Row Racing.
Yeah, we just introduced last Thursday the first race of the Porsche Cup in Barcelona, and
Oh,
we have a
nice.
couple of races in the Porsche cars, Porsche Cup cars. Completely different because they don't have any traction control at all.
Okay,
So
wow.
really interesting to drive in.
Have you already participated in one of the races?
No, unfortunately, I didn't have the time. I know I was signed into this cup, but unfortunately, it's only when it permits me to race. But it's really an interesting cup to drive into, as it's based almost completely all on driver aids instead of aerodynamics and traction control.
Okay.
But interesting cup, yeah, absolutely. If you want to participate, I think there are still 2 spots available there. Just see the messages on Discord, and you will be able to join in that cup if you're interested. Just move to the
Nice.
Discord of Lesser Racing, and you will find all the information needed over there. So
Nice.
Enzo Benvenuti increasing 3/10. He's in P8 at the moment, so he will be battling for P6 at the moment if he can keep up with his lap time. So we got Tommy Schets in the top 5. So he slightly moved up. Let's see what Enzo Benvenuti can do here. 3/10 up. 4/10, increasing, losing a little here, drifting a little. It's on the same pace, just a little overshooting there, and we got the last laps coming in now, Sean, as we are over the 20-minute mark. Tommy Schets also a little increasing here, 2/10. Let's see if he can increase enough to make life hard on Kasten Broskis.
I really like that livery. Tommy Schets is so fitting for the car.
Ooh, that last corner, Tommy. That was unfortunate. Losing
Aye.
there a lot of time. But he still make P4. It was just enough, even though we went off track. So Emil Madsen is the next in line to increase. Let's see if he can move into P9. If he can keep up with this, he can. He's 1/10 up. And now he's dropped back, unfortunately, to the same pace as his previous lap. Let's see if it's not enough. He's also, ooh, it was a wall.
Man. Ah, wow. That
Yeah,
must have hurt.
that would hurt, yeah. Chris Delgado, 3/10 up. P12 at the moment. Let's see what he can do. He's probably moving P10 or 9. 8 even. Ooh, that's a harsh one to Enzo Benvenuti, as he's moving up now to P10. Peter Das also there, not enough. And we're up to the race. So we got 5 minutes. Let's have an onboard view of this track, Sean.
I think we have a fastest lap in the GT3 car for the onboard, right?
Yeah, so there's a real life onboard lap. So 1:52 if I'm not mistaken here. So this is the straight into the fast right-hander. Moving back all the way to second here. And increasing on that fast right and left-hander again. Taking the inside lines next to the curbs. Just finding that braking spot on here to take probably third or fourth gear into the fast right-hander to the left, and braking in time to make a shortcut here onto the right. Finding that correct braking spot again for a right-hander. Little oversteer here normally, just control your car. Braking in late for a second gear left-hand turn. And that oversteer as you see again. throttling up all the way over here. Brake really at the last moment for a right-hander and a left-hand combination here. Speeding up full throttle for a quick right-hander, just tapping the brakes a little, decreasing one gear and full speed into this right-hander. If you take the perfect line, you can keep it full throttle in the GT3 car into start finish, and that's it. A lap here at Zandvoort, and it is a 1:52.1, so quite a quick lap there. Right, Sean, we're on the start line for the race. Any surprises?
Well, I think it's obvious that our number one will be Yuri Sanders. He's like the Lewis Hamilton, you know, of the GT3 for last row. He's always just performing, always consistent. It would be nice to see if people behind him or the midfield kind of shakes up. As I said, I'd be happy if our Nico Hulkenberg, Martijn Breuker gets a podium spot. That'd be nice. Or I mean, like I think you have your usual suspects that will end up in the top 5, like the James Ensbys, the Downings, the Schetzes, you know, the Enzo Benvenuti. So I think it's like going to be like between those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Sanders will be able to drive, create a gap like he's done in previous races, or maybe it'll be a little bit closer. I personally haven't seen any races on Zandvoort yet, so like with other tracks such as Paul Ricard or Silverstone, I've seen F1 there, so I kind of know what the track does.
Yeah.
But since I've never seen a race on Zandvoort, so this will be a pretty interesting one for me as well.
Yeah, of course, we spoke to Joris Sanders really quick in the post-race last week. So he wasn't that... Yeah, he didn't have that big of a gap last week. So quite interesting to see what he can do here, as this track is really narrow to overtake. Interesting to see what's going on with those guys here. Especially in turn 1 with outbrake, trying to outbrake that corner. Or as a opponent. So interesting to see what's happening here. And we got Ilmason P11, Anthony Pellicano just scroll already through the top 10. Jamie Ellis P13, Rob Constantine P14, Peter Das 15, 16 Daniel Robinson, Ace van der Velde 17, Ilko Hoogveen 18, Christoph Weilands 19, 20, Jeroen Weideman, Eddie Oosterbrugge 21, Ajit. Ooh, Ajit, very low on the standing, and he's even starting from pit, Sean there.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Like when we were offline, it's strange that, for example, last year he was P5 or P6, I believe, and he was in quali. He was P5, for example.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, when we go over the results of the previous race before we start the new ones, and then last year he performed pretty good in a lot of the races, and this year he's been all over the place. I'm a bit surprised what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's concentration or car control or setup or what else.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something with internet connection. He said in the past that he's had issues with latency.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be both of them combination, of course, is also possible. But interesting to see what's going on there. If we can get some info from inside. So we are on the formation lap at the moment. Drivers trying to heat up their tires and brakes. Going through the field here. So track condition is still optimum. We have track temperature of 25 degrees, outside temperature of 19 degrees, and forecast for the next 30 minutes is clouded skies with a little sunshine there. So no decrease or increase on the weather. So that should give the drivers a very steady setup as they, if they nail it spot on at the moment. So of course, due to the track being short, this formation lap also will be short, and we'll have a look almost with the top guys here to see with the helicam when they here almost entering start finish line. Quite a nice livery there as well from Broskis in his grey and black Merc. Everybody falling back to their positions.
What's happening here? There's one car ahead of Saunders, and they're all slowing down.
They will be filled back into the grid lineup, as they will otherwise be teleported to start finish. Right, let's move up to the helicam view and let's focus on the top 10 here. So let's see, we got 45 minutes of race time and we are green lighted at the moment, so we are starting the race here. Good start here from Jordi Sanders as well, followed by James Ansby on the inside line. Being clean, everybody clean through the first corner in the back as well. Yep, too wide almost everywhere, of course. Ooh, there's a little collision there from Christoph Weilands with Jeroen Weideman. But everybody seems to be clear out of that lap. Ooh, that was a big spin there. I think Evan Velde as well.
No.
Enzo Benvenuti came out clean. So top 9 clean. So that was Ace van der Velde, Peter Daas and Christoph Weilands, I think. So Delgado is on the back, so he was definitely involved in that collision. Jamie Ellis following here up after Jordi Sanders, it looks like. Ooh, I see a big hit there on Martijn Breuker.
Oh no!
Yep, that was a big one.
Oh, Nico, Martijn. Oh man.
Iman Madsen still there in the fight.
It looks like his front is pretty damaged.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh man.
That's
probably hit into pit.
Real quick to Martijn Breuker. Ooh, he fell back quite a bit. Yeah, his front is completely smashed there on the side as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was quite a big collision there. Delgado as well in the back, a lot of damage there. Ace van der Velde in behind him as well. Daniel Roberts. Ooh, he has also got a quite turned up bonnet. Jordi Sanders still P1 there, followed by James Ansby, Chris Downing fighting for P2 and 3. Tommy Schets P4, Keston Braskes 5, Martin Bollinger 6 and Jamie L 7. Quite a big battle going on there. Peter Daas just into pit due to the damage. Let's see this fight here with Chris Downing. On board here with Chris Downing following up on James Ansby and being followed by Tommy Schets there. Tommy Schets trying to overtake here Chris, but as been said before, it's a really tight circuit to overtake, so there are only a couple of spots you can really do it safely. So that pack is still intact here, top 5. Gas also closing down this formation of the top 5. Jamie Ellis here in 7th. Enzo Benvenuti being followed up. So Enzo Benvenuti actually moved up 2 spots. 3 spots from his starting position. Martijn Breuker 13, still driving. So didn't take that pit.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna go in soon and just have his tires refreshed and the damage fixed, or maybe he can still drive.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be beneficial if you do it, as this is a non-mandatory pit stop race. So you will only lose time, unfortunately.
Last race was the same. Have we stopped doing the mandatory pit stops?
Last race we had is mandatory pit stop, but you had no time frame, so you could take it whenever you
Oh,
wanted. That's why.
I thought it was. Oh, okay. I thought it was also the last race.
Now this is no pit stop at all, so it's a 45-minute sprint. So
Oh yeah, the last one was an hour, of course. The last
yeah,
race.
exactly. Yeah. So a battle going on here with Chris Downing, James Ansby, and Tommy Schetz, and Cas Dombrovskis as well. So a 4-man pack. As you can see, Tommy Schetz is to find a spot where he can overtake. It's not that easy, unfortunately, for him. And Chris following up, of course, on James Ansby with a 0.5 second gap. So it's all roughly the same here with those guys. Joris Salnos leading comfortably with a...
So it was a 3.1 second gap, or 3.5.
It's even more at 6 at the moment.
Oh
Five,
man!
6 seconds, yeah. So he is flying at the moment. Enzo Benvenuti just into the pit. Probably due to damage, yeah, looks like it.
I just wonder if he's gonna keep up this whole race with that pace, or if he's just doing this now to create a comfortable gap.
Exactly, yeah, that's the question, of course.
Because otherwise his tires will wear out pretty soon.
Yep. So Joris Salnos here. I would almost say leading by example.
But he's just driving so fast and so smooth. It's crazy.
Yep. Like this guy, right?
Oh man, I'm happy that I'm just helping out with commentating here and not a driver. I would get discouraged so badly if I have to drive against that guy every race.
Yeah, this. If you're willing to compete with the top 3 here in this league, you have to be of such another class to compete with Jordi Sanders, I would say. If we of course saw it quite a few times last race with Enzo Benvenuti and of course Tommy Schetz there, Chris Downing as well, James Ansby. But overall this guy is so quick during all races, even though he's dropping sometimes on the differences he's on the gaps is he creating, but still overall it's still comfortable.
It's
Look
crazy.
at this gap, yeah, and this is only lap 4 that we're entering at the moment. So Martin Baldinger here with Jamie Els, Emil Madsen, Anthony Pelcano, and Robert Constantine entering start-finish. So gaps here, Martin Breuker is lost quite a lot, dropped back to P11. So Nico unfortunately has quite a lot of damage there. Eddie Oosterbrugge fighting here with Jeroen Weideman. For P14. So back in the pit we got Rage in pit, Enzo Benvenuti in pit, and Ajit Harry who didn't even left pit. Then Robertson, Peter Das, yeah, they're back on pits. So Rage just went into pit, so probably damaged as it looks like. Enzo is completely out of the game, so I don't think he will leave pit anymore. Azor is just bravely trying to make the best out of it with his damage. Do that to,
Did you just say that Enzo's out?
Yeah, looks like it. He's not leaving pit. Yeah.
That's too bad.
Ilko Overveen also some few spots and bruises are on the front. As well with Delgado in the back of him, in the behind him. Eddie Oosterbrugge is still in the fight there with Jeroen Weideman. Let's see, move up. So we got Chris Downing still in that pack with Tommy Schetz, Kes Dombrovskis and Martin Bollinger. And James Ansby, of course, leading that pack. So at the moment we got a 1:35.8 quickest time, Joris Anders.
Are you surprised?
Well, actually, it's a 2-second difference to the quickest time of James Ansby in P2 here.
Oh
so
wow!
He is flying, and so those guys are really really close to each other with the quickest lap time. So 1:37.2 for James, and 1:37.2 also for Chris. Tommy Schreds 1:37.2, and Kes also at 1:37.2. So they're all on the same pace.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, so the top 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're really competitive.
Look at that! I mean, look at this view. You just see James Ansby, and Sanders is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, he's off 6 seconds still.
He's driving his own race.
There he is. Yeah, in the front.
Oh my god.
So we are hitting the 10-minute mark at the moment, and we got a big gap. Well, that's a complete opposite of the last compared to the last race that we saw from Joris Sanders, where he was still battling, of course, in this lap. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 still fighting roughly for a spot. Tommy Schreds, Chris Downing, James Ansby, and Kes is falling back a little bit there. So he's 1 second off of Tommy Schreds at the moment. Let's see if he can keep up with the pace of those guys. Got Emil Madsen fighting there with Anthony Pellicano, Robert Constantine. Quite a lot of damage there on the front. With Anthony Pellicano, how it looks like for him on board. And his Ferrari, that iconic sound of back shifting that does Ferrari give you. Trying to dive bomb here on the inside. Ooh, and it will cost him a place and even a hit there. Ooh. I think that will result up. Yeah, that will result up probably in a. He's giving us back the spot gladly. Sportsmanship. That's nice to see. But that was not the way to do it. Let's put it that way.
I always respect a driver that does that. And we've seen examples of not being done, but it's only better for the sport if people do it.
Yep, absolutely agree with that, John.
So Tommy Schreds is pretty close to Downing. If he keeps up at this pace, he'll be able to overtake him. He's like really breathing down his neck.
Yep. So he's 0.4 second gap between those guys, and Kes is also closing down there on the back. Interesting to see how long this will continue, as probably at some point somebody will make a mistake here. James Ansby looking.
Hope it doesn't result in a crash.
Yeah, exactly. James is looking like he's creating a little gap here. Entering start finishes, he's Joris Sanders entering into his first corner there. So the gap at the moment is roughly 6 to 7 seconds, depending on the corner, of course. Chris Downing, Tommy Schreds here, and Gaston Brosk is fighting. A little slide there in the back from Martin Baldinger, losing time. Jamie Ellis to follow up here after Martin Baldinger, increasing in his distance, in his gap. Let's see, do we got a fight going on? Ilko Huveen still in the fight here with Delgado and Patrick Starr. And Ace van der Velde roughly in behind of those guys with the damage that he has. Doesn't look good, but he still seems to be in the fight. Martijn Breuk, unfortunately P19. Yeah. He looks like he pitted there, Sean.
Really?
Yep, his damage is gone. So definitely he took that pit stop. Let's see if he can make a difference. Of course he has now a lap. He's been lapped. Yeah, that's the downside of a sprint race.
I think it impacted the performance of the car so badly that he had to.
There's no way to continue like with a steering angle of 90 degrees to the right. It doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That probably would be the position he's in before that pit stop. So we're still here on the pack with Chris Downing, James Ansby and Tommy Schetz. And being closed up with Keston Broskis.
We're almost at 30 minutes.
Yep. So first stint of 15 is in the books. So P1, Jordi Sanders, James Ansby, Chris Downing, Tommy Schetz, Keston Broskis, Baldinger, Ellis and Constantine Madsen. And Pelicano closing up the top 10. But of course here P9, 10, 11 and 12 fully in the fight for a position. And see Martijn Breuker closing up those guys, but of course he is being lapped. So he has to unlap himself to make any options possible, but that will be a really tough cookie to crumble today.
Oh, when you say stuff like that, it makes me think of Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Oh man.
Chris, make it happen, boy. Top 3 at the moment.
Are you still betting money on him, or?
Well, I stopped betting, but I really enjoy see him fighting here with this top 3 spots, or within this top 3 spots, I have to say. James Ansby 7.6 seconds behind Jordi Sanders, that guy. Increasing every lap at the moment still. So it looks like Chris is also creating a little gap there with Cass. So Chris and James fighting here for P2 and 3. Ooh, little braking mistake there for James. Just see Jordi Sanders flying in the distance there.
I would almost say he's driving a Formula 1 car. It's so crazy.
Ooh. This is some close battling here between James and Chris. As they both drive a 136.8 at the moment, so Chris is a little quicker on his fastest lap time. So probably he's pushing James, as we can see at the moment. So it's all defending the lines now for James Ansby here, and to find some more grip in his racing line to increase on lap times. Let's go to the view of James Ansby here. In the back, being followed here by Chris Downing. Ooh, Chris trying to outbrake him here, but almost losing a place here to Tommy Schetz. Just can keep it, as we can see. In his HMS Battleship Bentley.
Uh,
So those guys still being in that pack. Cass unfortunately is losing grip on those guys to do anything. He is 3 seconds behind almost. Jordi Sanders comfortably driving in P1 with a 10-second gap.
that's just crazy.
Yeah. So Christopher Breilands chasing up Eddie Oosterbrugge, Marcel Stadmeier being followed by Eddie Oosterbrugge here for P11.
What's the gap between Breuker and Star? Because I know that Star might be able to overtake Van der Velde, but is the gap between him and Breuker big?
It's roughly around 12-13 seconds.
Mm.
But Breuker is still being lapped, so he's on the same lap as Rage F1 at the moment.
But is Breuker gaining on?
Yeah, he is gaining, but unfortunately it's a long way to go.
Okay.
So it's my estimations are correct at the moment. He will catch up almost on the end of the race.
You're like the Amazon Web Services from Formula One, striking distance.
Striking distance, yeah.
X amount of laps.
Well, Sean, if you can fill me in on the tire status, then we are one big hell of a team.
I would say his tires are at X amount of percent. It's really cool to see what they do during the race. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's always cool to see those things.
I'm really curious, like in Formula One races, when you see those stats, are they complaining if they hear those stats, or are they really complaining about what they see in the car and feel in the car sometimes? Like,
I think it's what they feel in the car, because
I hope so, but
yeah, because it'd be strange if the team say, "Oh, hey, Amazon Web Services is predicting that your car is at 10% on the left front tire. Is that correct?" And he's like, "Yeah, the tires are really bad." I mean, that'd be really strange.
If you sometimes hear like Lewis Hamilton complaining, it's like, does he look at stats and starts complaining then, or? Guys, come on, man! I cannot hold up those tires. Blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
you know.
I think that's just like him covering his ass, because he's like, okay, if I do something wrong or if I lose something, I can at least say, oh, but during lap 12, I said that I had no more grip. So because it's always the same thing. I remember last year in Monaco, he used to like, oh yeah, these tires have no grip. I'm not gonna make it, and he just won the race.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. Ooh, Martin Bollinger there spinning out.
Oh wow,
big time.
no!
Yep.
Oh yeah, he just hit that wall.
Yeah, free spot there for Jamie Ellis and Robert Constantine.
Oh man.
That's a bummer for Martin Bollinger. Ooh, quite a lot of damage there in the front as well.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to go in. He can't drive out in this state.
He's continuing.
Really?
Yep. So Emil Metz, Anthony Pellicano, Marcel Stadmeier, they got a target now, and I think they will overtake him. Not that in that far future. With that damage.
I cannot imagine he's gonna drive the whole race. I mean, look at the hood and the bonnet of his car is just sticking out.
Yep. Look at that front hood.
Oh man.
So he's losing grips, he's losing aerodynamics, he's losing a lot of stuff here. And especially he's losing time. Here he goes wide again, so probably his damage is so severe at the moment. So
he's outside of the track.
Yeah, so 3 spots for Anthony Pellicano, Marcel Stadmeier as well, so they move up into P10, 11 and 12. Well, that's unfortunate for him. Jamie L still here, P6, trying to find a gap to James Ansby. Sorry, Gaston Roskis, of course, P4. That's a 6-second gap. Still see the fight going on. Tom Schetz, Chris Downing here, P3 and 2. So a half second on the straight. We're halfway the race already, Sean.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's what they say, right? Jordi Sanders, 11 seconds off, even more now, increasing 17 seconds. Didn't say anything. 17 seconds.
Foxworth asks in chat what happened to James.
Well, James, damage. Look at his front right tire.
Yeah, but I think he's wondering how it happened.
Yeah, he's I think there will be in DNF for that, James.
I don't hope so.
Let's see, car 27. So there was an accident. Unfortunately, I cannot catch up onto that accident, but it will be in DNF for James, unfortunately.
Is the damage so severe?
Yep, his front
Oh,
right tire
yeah.
wasn't even rolling anymore.
Yeah, he's put the car on the side of the track.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
So Tommy Schet's still battling for P2 and 3 here, with Chris Downing, of course, in his Bentley. So this pack is also still quite close. Emil Madsen, Anthony Pellicano, Marcel Stadtmeier, and being closed up with Eddie Oosterbrugge. All cars quite a lot of damage here, being overtook almost by Anthony Pellicano on the outside line here. Gladly Emil has the inside line here. Those guys are definitely competitive at the moment. On board with Anthony Pellicano chasing up Emil Madsen here for P7. Robert Constantine entering pit as well. Ooh, probably damage. Yep.
It's a strange race that so many drivers have so much damage.
Yeah. It's quite a few cars actually that have quite severe damage.
I can't remember the last race having so much.
Yeah. Yeah, of course this is quite tricky track of course to overtake, but if you make that mistake you're into the barrier and then it's almost end of the line for you.
Yeah.
So the fight is still going on here. Anthony Pellicano just overtook Emil Madsen, as we could see just a few corners back. Being chased up by Marcel Stadtmeier and Eddie Oosterbrugge for P9 and 10. So Martijn Breuker, as we spoke earlier about, is still quite a few seconds behind Patrick Starr. Let's see if he sees him already. Nope, that was not Patrick Starr. So he's quite a few seconds back. So Anthony Pellicano is leading this pack at the moment, being followed by Emil Madsen, Marcel Stadtmeier, Eddie Oosterbrugge. Chris Downing still big time in the fight here with Tommy Schetz. And Jordi Sonne still cruising on safely, easily there in P1.
I think he's just, he might be bored at the front.
Yeah. So 1:35.8 quickest lap time compared to Chris. P2 at the moment 1:36.3. Quite a big gap as well, 5/10. So we're at roughly 11-12 seconds distance between those P1 and P2 guys. Ooh, Chris! There was a big problem on the braking side there. So Tommy Schetz moving up to P2. Jimmy Ellis, Kesson Broskis behind Tommy Schetz still, yep. Chris there. Chris moving back to P3 due to that braking error he made there. He is in a gap of 3.5 seconds behind Chris now. So smooth sailing here for Tommy Schetz due to that error on the braking spot. So the biggest fight at the moment is there with Anthony Pellicano, Emil Madsen, Marcel Stadtmeier and Eddie Oosterbrugge for P6, 7, 8 and 9. And Jamie Ellis up front with a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 second gap at the moment to Anthony Pellicano. So the smallest gap here is with Marcel Stadtmeier and Emil Madsen. Position is number 7.
This is turning out to be a completely different race than I had expected.
Yeah, up front it's almost what we expected, and
Yeah,
unfortunately to Chris making that error, it was almost like a simulated race, I would say.
yeah. But who knows? He might be able to squeeze out some extra power and get close.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, the gap is becoming smaller. It went from a 1.8 to a 1.6 second gap.
So Patrick Starr moved up, overtaking Robert Constantine for P15 now at the moment. So Martijn Breukers chasing up now Robert Constantine in P16, but they still have a lap difference, so he's still not has been able to unlap himself.
I don't know if Foxworth spoke to James, but maybe he can give us an update in chat on what happened to James.
Yeah.
I mean, normally I'd ask James himself, but as a driver coming out of a DNF, I don't think people are how to put it, if that's the best moment to ask them what's going on, because they're just processing what happened, and there's a lot of different thoughts and emotions going through you. So
yeah, let's see if we can speak to him in the post race real quick to catch up.
yeah, or maybe Foxworth has already spoken to him and he can maybe give us an update.
Yeah, probably he does. Okay, so still the fight here in Marcel Stadmeyer, Emil Madsen for P7 and 8. Quite close, and being followed up there with Eddie Oosterbrug and Christophe Breilands. So Chris Downing trying to chase up Tommy Schetz here. 1.5 second gap. Still a long way to go, unfortunately, to do that mistake that he made there. Emil Madsen with the damage, fighting off Marcel Stadmeyer. So he's probably losing some time due to that damage that he has. Oh, that was a big hit there, unfortunately, on the inside line due to Marcel Stadmeyer not braking on the right spots, losing position, and Eddie Oosterbrugge taking advantage to move up a spot, and Christophe Breilands as well. That's unfortunate for Emil Madsen. Jamie Ellis comfortably here in P5, cruising along with quite a big gap to Kersten Bronskis as well.
Can you hear me, J.Hub?
Yep, you're still there, Sean.
My internet has dropped out, so I warned that this might have happened. It's been doing this all day, so I'm using my phone, so the audio might not be as good as people are used to. I do see in chat that Foxwood says, "Nope, I work during these races, so I'll find out in a few hours." So
okay. Well, we'll have to wait for that answer then.
yeah.
So Chris Downing's chasing up, creeping in a little there on Tommy Schetz. 1.4 second at the moment. Chris Delgado trying to find Rafa Star with a 0.7 second gap. So good news, Martijn Breuker is in the same lap as Robert Constantine for P15. And he is stuck, I think it's... I think it was Ilko Hogeveen there. So Marcel Stadmeyer is in pit. So to do the damage, probably. So it's Eddie Oosterbrugge, yeah. Martijn Breuker is following up to one lap up. So he has to unlap himself there. Kersten Bronskis still comfortably behind Chris Downing. 4 second gap. Chris Downing is trying to find a pace to to threaten the position of P2 from Tommy Schetz. Star still in the fight here with Christoph Bijlands and Emil Madsen and Chris Delgado.
It just sucks to have the internet drop out because it's hard to follow the race on a tiny screen.
Yeah, I can imagine. So we're reaching the 10-minute mark for this race. Jordi Solna still leading comfortably.
With a 14-second lead, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. He's just lapping, I think it is Peter Das. Yep, it's Peter Das. He just lapped Peter Das there.
I think this is the biggest. I think this is the biggest gap he's driven in a race so far.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
So Tom Schetz, Chris Downing following up for P1. Unfortunately, quite a big difference for those guys. Jamie Ellis, P5 still, following up on Gaston Broskis with a 12-second gap. Anthony Pellicano, quite a big gap as well, 7 seconds to Jamie Ellis. Christopher Bijlands, Emil Madsen, P8, 9 and 10 still in the fight. So those guys are actually the closest to a battle at the moment.
Is there only 20 drivers left? Do we have 5 DNFs?
Yeah, we got 22 drivers still online, and we got 3 drivers in pit. So quite a few DNFs being spread out on the field here. So Peter Darcy is the back marker at the moment, P20. Race in P19, following 5-second gap to Daniel Robertson. And I see already there. Well, Sean, it's time for you to pay up, I would say.
I don't know, man. I mean, until the last 6 months, my internet was really good, stable, and fast. And these last 6 months, it's been just crazy. It's constantly dropping out.
Yeah, it's a bummer to have that, I would say.
Especially in these moments.
Yeah. Some time Breuker here, chill, chasing up Eddie Oosterbrugge for a unlap of his pit stop that he made there. And Marcel Stadmeyer still in pit, so he will be in DNF as well. Chris Downing still trying to catch up here to Tommy Schetz. We got Emil Madsen in the fight with Eddie Oosterbrugge still for P7. And he still has that damage on the front. Being followed by Christoph Bijlands, Rafa Star and Delgado. So we are 23 laps into this race. So last year we had 19 laps and half an hour, and we got 7 minutes on the clock for this race. So a couple of laps in for Jordi Sanders, and he can call himself victorious. Chris Downing catching up here on Tommy Schetz. Is he able to do anything about this P3 position? That's the question.
He just needs Tommy Schets to make like a small mistake, and then he's got him.
Yep. But
And he's really close.
He's close again, yeah. But it's, as we saw before, easy to make that mistake himself as well. So,
I almost think that because from what I understood, Tommy Schets' car isn't the fastest, but it is really good in the corners.
Yeah.
And I think that his car compensates because this track has quite some corners.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that advantage of speed goes away if your car can't take the corners well. What Tommy Schets is basically doing.
Yeah.
Though I must say, like we're getting really close now.
Yeah, it looks like Chris has the advantage definitely on the straights, on the fast corners. But Tommy is so much quicker here on the quick corners, the slow corners, I have to say. Accelerating out. So they're catching up to some back markers there in the front. So at the moment we're driving 137, almost a second slower than Jordi Sanders. So that guy is still flying, even though he can cruise. Compared to those two guys here. So 5 minutes to go. Jordi Sanders there in front, little moving down the track. So I think that's Peter Daas up front there to Tommy Schets. He's probably getting some blue flags. Chris Downing really close here up to the tail here on Tommy Schets, taking the outside line, so he has to outbrake as he tries. Let's see what he can do. Ooh, nice defended here with Tommy Schets on the inside line. So he probably has to wait another lap here to make that second move. So 3+ minutes on the clock. So this is one of the only opportunities here for Chris Downing to make a move here on Tommy Schets. Let's see if they can keep it clean and fair. Let's move back real quick. So Emil Madsen still fighting there with Christoph Bijlands for P8. I'm being followed up there with Rafsar and Delgado. Tuinbroek is still P16. So that's the closest fights that we have. Let's move back to Tommy Schets here with Chris Downing for P2 and 3. Overtaking there the back marker, Peter Daas. And Rage of 1. Peter Daas and Rage of 1, you see them disappearing here in the back. Focusing on this fight. So Chris trying to outbrake him again here. But I think this gap is too big. Yeah, it is. See there Gaston Vasquez in the back trying to catch up to those guys. Unfortunately, he's running out of time to make an effort. So it will be Jordi Sanders, Tommy Schets or Downing, or the way around. So Jordi Sanders, Downing or Tommy Schets for the P2, 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, we're heading into the last 2 minutes of the race, so...
yeah. So we got 2 laps to, 2 laps to go almost. And then we're there already.
Yeah.
So Jordi Sanders, 17-second gap. Let's see where he is in the race. So there's a couple of corners before start finish, and then he will enter his last lap here. After this quick right corner. So last lap before victory for Jordi Sanders here. Here we go. Chris Downing, Tom Schetz still in the fight here for P2 and 3.
Come on, Downing, you can do it, man.
Find that grip. Trying to follow into a line here. So this is one of the only chances you have. Keep it clean though.
He's so close, come on.
So as you can see, Sean, one mistake and he threw it all the way there. That P2 position.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But I think this whole race is a bit crazy, as it turned out completely different than I would have expected it to.
Yeah, and it also shows like how competitive this league is.
Yeah.
Like if it all comes down to one mistake in 45 minutes, damn. So Jordi was probably almost, yeah, last corner before start finish here. Here he comes, flashing probably his lights. Here he goes. Start finish, yep.
Yeah.
Race winner Jordi Sanders. Quick slap 135.8. Last corners for those two guys here. Chris Downing running quite wide there on that corner, so he's throwing away the chances unfortunately. But still, P3.
It's gonna end like this.
Yeah. P2 and 3. Tommy Schetz, Chris Downing. Still nicely done. Kersten Broskes, P4. I think he would be happy with that one.
Oh, I know you'd be happy with that one.
Jamie Ellis, P5. Anthony Pellicano, 6. P6 for Anthony Pellicano here. And closing up P7, Eddie Oosterbrugge. Emil Madsen and Christopher Barlands. 6, 7 and 8. Well, he's happy.
I can imagine.
I think that's one of the best results for Eddie here.
I think so as well.
Emil Madsen P8, Christopher Barlands P9, Rough Start P10. Delgado entering start finish P11. Well, not the best race, but definitely not the worst race for him. If you see the damage that he has there. Ace van der Velde with the damage from the first couple of laps that we saw in that crash, P12. Still
Yeah, still good for the amount of damage that he has.
Yeah, I would say too. Ilko Hogeveen already finished, and the rest as well. P14, 15, yep, all in there. So we got some final results there, Sean.
This is an unexpected race, a result for the race.
Definitely, yeah. Alright, let's get us settled up for the post-race interviews. Let's see if we can get the top 3 in there.
Let's switch over.
Alright, see you on the flip side.
Well, hello there again.
Well, hello. We're back.
Yeah, still on my phone, but you know.
You're still live.
We're just trying to make do.
Okay, let's see if we have some competitors there. I see them dripping in. Let's see if we can wait a little bit for Jordi Sanders and Chris Downing. Well, let's wait a little longer, but we already got Chris and Tommy in here. See Jordi is joining as well. Should we start up there with Tommy Schets and Chris, Sean?
Let's go.
All right, Tommy, P2.
Yeah, P2. Really happy.
Yeah, we saw
Car's terrible.
we saw one mistake from Chris there.
Yeah.
And that gave you the P2 if I'm not completely wrong there.
Yeah, Chris was faster than me, but he was making little mistakes here and there, so I could just keep up with him. But unfortunately for him, he just made one big mistake, and I needed to defend the rest of the race. But
yeah, we saw the first, I think was the previous lap, not the last lap, the lap before the last lap.
Yeah.
He was trying to outbrake you there on the outside line. You of course kept the inside line quite clean there.
Yeah.
Any chances before that, or was it like a done race already?
No, yeah, I was really slow on the last corner. Like Chris was so fast on the last corner. It's like the Honda doesn't want the. I don't know. I don't have top speed or acceleration. I don't know what it is, but But I had a little bit better brakes, so yeah, just keep defending the inside line and hope for the best.
Yeah, so. I would say you would be happy that you're at Zandvoort today then.
Yeah. Congrats to you, because the Nissan is not a fast car around here, and with his broken G29, great performance from him.
Yeah, definitely great performance. We'll wait for Jordi to congratulate him as well. Sean, any questions for Tommy there?
Well, maybe it's a mixed question for Chris and for Tommy, because we mentioned during the race that it looked like Chris's car was faster on the straights, and Tommy's car was more nimble in the corner, so he could get out faster out of those corners, basically taking that speed advantage away. Was that something that you tried to play into, Chris, or Tommy as well? Is that something you tried to take advantage of?
Yeah, I was definitely faster in Sector 2, but he was faster in Sector 1 and 3, especially 3. So, yeah, but it's hard to pass in Sector 2 unless you make a mistake what happened. But, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd almost say that by the time that Chris got up to speed, to get close to you, he would already head into a corner and he would lose that speed advantage. But maybe Chris can shed some light on that.
Yeah, that Honda's so good around the hairpin and hairpins, and so much better on the brakes, or maybe he's better on the brakes, probably a bit of both. Every time I get close to him and just get in line to overtake, it'd just be like, just go into a corner and he'd be off again. I tried that move on the outside of T1. I didn't think it was going to work, but I have to try something. I mean, we had a good drag race after, what turn was it? Tommy? It was one after the first little section, and then it goes down that second straight. Just Bentley's so much better in a straight line.
Yeah, just Chris, just a question on that one. We saw you taking the outside line for T1. Was it like you were hoping for a little disadvantage for Tommy for the back markers there up front?
I saw the back markers coming up, and I thought, that was when we caught the back markers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Caught that. I thought, I took the outside line. I thought I'd take it because I thought maybe he'll, get some TC involved or something, and I just keep a better line. But then I saw the back marker on the outside of the corner. I thought, no, it's not the place you want to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. As well, Chris, moving back to the one big mistake that we saw costing you P2. Could you take us through what happened there?
It's just so easy to do that. Everyone that must have done that either in qualifying or practice, or I just did it in the race. I just clipped the inside corner because you have to take some speed on there. Mm-hmm. Even with the Bentley, you can't take too much curve because it just throws you off. I just had a bit too much speed and just went off the track. And luckily, I kept out of the wall because that was what I was main concerned about. I thought, it's going to be a DNF. And I didn't know how far Kaz was behind because at that point we were, I think we moved a bit further out. Luckily,
you guys were breaking off to Kaz as well, so probably roughly around 4 or 5 seconds or something at the moment. So that wasn't impacting that much, gladly for you guys. But
but
P2 in one corner, unfortunately.
Yeah, Tommy was really quick though at that point. He was quicker than me.
Yeah.
So I mean, hats off to him because it was proper clean. Came really close. He came really close to my bumper, and I did the same to him, and we didn't have any touches or anything. So you can't complain with that.
Yeah. I
Very
think
clean. Yeah.
all overall it was a very clean race for the top 7 or 8 cars there. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got held up at the start by Ensby, and that was Geordie getting the win then. So
yeah, he was just like cruising along all race long when he was
easy.
when he was moving out after what was it, T4 or something already.
Yeah.
Sean, any questions for Chris there?
He basically answered the one I had for them both, so I'm all good. Thank you for that,
All
and
right.
congrats both to you.
Yeah, congrats definitely for P2 and 3 guys.
Cheers.
All right.
Hey, thank you, guys.
All right. Then we got our victorious man, Jordi Sanos there.
Yo.
Hey, last minute Jordi Sanos, but it wasn't that last minute today.
No, it was first minute.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of practice there.
Yeah, I kind of had to, because yesterday I had a race on Imola where my wheel the force feedback fucked up.
Ooh.
So I had to test if it all was working, but it was working.
Oh,
Well, not as supposed to, but it was fine.
Good enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Could you take us through like the first lap? I think that was the only lap that was interesting for you today.
Well, that's not true actually, because the Nissan is really, really hard on this track. At least that's my experience. It's sliding every corner, and you're just fighting the wheel all the time. Because it was far from a boring race, but that was just because I was fighting the car all the time. But yeah, lap 1, Ensby had a really good start. He had the inside on turn 1, and he also overtook Chris, who had a pretty slow start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after I took the lead on I think it was turn 1 already, where I got out in front. Yeah, I was just focusing on trying to get my pace and hopefully create a gap, and that was quite soon done.
Yeah, I think what was it, Sean? We were talking about it like in like laps 5 or 6. You're comfortably at like 8-9 seconds gap that you created there. So it's only I think it was turn 3 or 4 you actually drove away from James there.
Yeah.
On the inside line. In T1 that was the only interesting move that we were watching. Like, was that going to be any inflict on your race? But it looked really comfortable from our standpoint. But it's still a Nissan, so.
Yeah, it's still a Nissan, but yeah, I knew I had a 10-second gap or something, obviously. So I knew there was room for tiny mistakes. I think I didn't really make any mistakes, so it was I was happy with my performance. It was just consistent, good lap times. Only the tires were pretty worn out after 20 minutes or so, but I think most people had the same problem at Zandvoort. So.
Yeah, we saw quite a lot of DNFs unfortunately today due to damage.
Yeah.
But also tire wear was one of the problems that we saw with some guys drifting around on track, being almost NASCAR. So you're not the only one.
Yeah, it's a very tricky track in the GT3. Mistakes are easily done.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, any comments on the race of Jordi that we saw today?
Well, I have a question because at the end of the race, you had a 18-second lead on the P2. How do you get to the position that? I mean, I think this is the biggest lead you've had in any of the races so far in the GT3. How do you pull that off? I mean, like, I think it was 1 or 2 races ago that you were kind of fighting to get that advantage, and now it almost looked like you were driving your own race.
Yeah, I think it's kind of part of the track as well. I really like this track in this game. It's quite challenging, and it's quite short. That's a great combo for me. Also, I was lucky with Ensby struggling for pace in the first first half of the race. So Chris and Tommy as well, I think, were kind of stuck behind him. So yeah, I think if Chris had clean air, he would be a lot closer.
Okay. And how do you, when you're at that, when you have a gap as big as that, do you still have the same amount of focus, or do you kind of get laid back? I mean, like, how do you keep on going, or what's going through your head at that moment? Because you must look at the standings and think like, oh, I have a comfortable lead of 10, 15, 18 seconds.
Yeah, sometimes it's indeed quite hard to stay focused because you don't really have to focus because you're far ahead. But then the car starts sliding because you're losing focus, and then you're back on the focus mode.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
the cars keep you focused.
Okay, that's good to hear. Well, thank you and congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you guys
Congrats,
for you again.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.
All right, Sean, I think that concludes tonight's sprint race at Zandvoort, or Zandvoort, how we call it.
It does. It was an interesting race. I didn't expect it to be this exciting, and I'm happy for the winners. I'm sad for Nico Hulkenberg, but maybe next time.
Yeah, more luck next time for Nico.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I think we'll see each other again in 2 weeks' time in Misano circuit.
Oh, Misano. I like Misano.
Yeah, we'll move up to like a lot of high-speed corners there. So interesting to see what Tommy Schetz can do in the Lexus, as he will be struggling even more in on that track compared to yeah the track that we saw tonight.
Yeah.
So, interesting to see. All right, I would say on that note, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time.
See you in 2